And some folks in Denver quote tweeted, responded in preparation.
No. I posted the clip because of the response from Denver.
Gotcha. Okay. So some clarity is that
our guy Howard Balzer posted in the same update that I think probably both of us, all three of us, posted after we were right there, probably 20 feet from Marlon Mack. He goes down, pass, that he had to reach for from Colt McCoy.
It was yesterday when we were all there.
Right. He left his feet, hits the ground, and he's writhing in pain. He gets help off the field, and then the rest is history. We know what happens. He's on IR. So then today I realized that this thing took off, and there's a big, to-do, a big hubbubaloo about the Arizona Cardinals field turf. And Denver fans are losing their minds about what they view the condition of the Arizona Cardinals field surface to be.
Yes, that's what's happened. Hubbubaloo. And then again, I like watching it happen yesterday. Like people not be surprised by this take. I thought not a great pass from Colt McCoy to Marlon Mack.
Yeah,
too. He had to readjust in that. So, but I mean, I guess people asked us, what do you make of the turf? Is it trash? Is it a liability? I mean, I was just mentioning to Howard Balzer yesterday after it happened. I'm like, it's like, knock on wood, the first lower body significant injury of all training camp.
Right.
I think they've been able to stay relatively healthy. And like, say what you want, like they've been getting after it. They've been hitting. They've been running around. So what do you make of the turf gate?
I think it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. It really is. Like, I want to talk about this team. I want to talk about this coaching staff. I want to preview the preseason game. I don't want to talk about grass. It's stupid. It's a surface. It's where, it's a football field. They just did 3 weeks of training camp, hitting on sleds, getting on the field, making plays. And you're right. Nobody suffered outside of Marlon Mack a significant leg injury because of that turf. And I don't even think we can blame the turf for Mack's injury. And then to see a fan base, see NFL Karen, Denver Bronco fans calling up police. I'd like to report some unsafe field surfaces because I'm scared that my trash team is going to go out there and hurt themselves worse than they've already hurt themselves on their own practice field.
How many
they
players
got guys dropping like flies every day at a Broncos camp, and they're asking Sean Payton because of a tweet from Howard Balzer about the field surface. Are you going to change who you play on Friday? It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. It looks like aesthetically, it looks bad. But look, the Super Bowl field looked great. Aesthetically, it was beautiful. It was green. It looked like it was from Augusta. It was like, this is pristine, and it was a nightmare. It was what Hassan Reddick called the worst playing surface in his career. And then, like, you just because you see some brown grass, you're like, we can't march Russell Wilson out there for him to play. Javonte Williams should just back up his debut because this playing surface is not suitable for him and he can get hurt. Like, get out of here with that. It's just, and to say, like, the owner's cheap. And what do you want him to do? You really want him to manicure the field that much? Like, well, they're just terrorizing it for training camp. And before the regular season, it makes sense. Let them do camp and then go to work on it before the preseason game and then get it ready for the regular season.
Well said. What a great rant by Bo Brock. If you only had that kind of passion for Clayton Tune. Chris Ramos in the chat, Sean Payton, VJ fans, I hate everything about the Broncos. We hate everything about, unless it's our friends at DMVR. Zach Stevens at DMVR is going to join us tomorrow to preview the matchup. But, I mean,
I'm going to yell at him.
Yeah, you should. Hey, man, Howard, our boy. Howard's always stirring the pot. That's why we love him. PHNX Cardinals beat reporter. Check out his recent content at gophnx.com. I mean, like, Austin Ford is on top of this shit. Like,
right.
He is all over the facility, walking around as the drill sergeant with his arms crossed with Jonathan Gannon, pointing out inefficiencies with this franchise. Is everything fixed and remedied following Cliff Kingsbury and Steve Keim's stint? No, but they're taking care of it. They're gutting the facility in Tempe. They've got a new bubble field turf. They've got a new nutrition plan. They're not paying for food with what I'm hearing. Like, they're taking care of shit. And if Jonathan Gannon and Monty Austinford, with their precious draft picks, Michael Wilson, Paris Johnson Jr. and company, thought that the field was unsafe, they'd be like, Michael, we need this fixed now. They made contingents on taking this job if the Cardinals were serious about making upgrades. So I would literally could not remember a training camp in which they've stayed this healthy throughout the course of the first 2 to 3 weeks. What they're doing, it's not my cup of tea with Colt McCoy. Everybody's healthy right now. The guys who are on PUP are the guys who tore their knees up last year and are coming back. So,
Johnny,
what?
Those guys on PUP, they're working out on the field.
They are.
And I can only say so much, but you've got your $230.5 million quarterback working out, rehabbing his knee on that field. Do you think that they have any concerns about the surface? I mean, it's got 3 weeks of wear and tear on it, but for the most part, it looks pretty good. I mean, sure, it's got some brown spots, but you really want it to look like the Augusta at the Masters? You want it to be pristine?
When I was at practice the other day, a pad came flying at me, and I was able to pivot effectively and move out of the way. It would have sent me to the hospital. Bo was able to make a nice catch. Thank God the ball didn't come my way.
It's unbelievable.
Back to a player.
I showed off my hands. Did you want to did you want to go play by play on that?
I actually regret immediately bringing that up. But I mean, if I can move around
Driscoll
on the turf,
drops back to pass, throws an errant ball that comes skipping through, and who just puts his hands out like he's Michael Wilson in camp and just snares it. I do. And then I throw a perfect spiral back down the depth chart cornerback. Did you see that?
Howard Balzer and I are repping the same $30 Amazon Under Armour sneakers, and we're moving just fine out there, me and Howie boy. So I think everybody just take a chill pill, okay? And listen, if it's an indictment on Friday night, God, so much is on the line Friday night.
It's football. It's football. Injuries are basically inevitable for Friday nights, and I can bet your ass Broncos Twitter is going to go off on the turf when some guy gets hurt. I guarantee it. There was some softy in my replies about like he literally tagged at NFL and at NFLPA a Broncos fan. He tagged it.
Players don't touch them. Don't hurt them. Ben Cork, that's definitely the test for turf if Johnny can be athletic on it. I mean, listen, I always say upper body is cosmetic, lower body is barely functional.
Not a single player outside of Marlon Mack has suffered any significant injury on that turf. It's like you had the Super Bowl turf that the NFL, that was their baby. They set the poor sod fodder up for failure. He's like 90 years old. It's supposed to be his swan song, and it's his worst performance of his poor career. And
he's doing Basha High School over here by where I live now. He's out there at 5:30 a.m.
He's out there mumbling and cussing out Roger Goodell because he set him up for failure. Like, hey, let's make it look pretty over functionality.